Since November 2012, I have reviewed video games, old, new, good and just downright terrible. Now here we are in 2017, about to embark on the 50th video game review in the series, which is now known as James Games. For quite a while I've been wondering what I could possibly do to mark this milestone, but then I realised that there's only one game that I can take a look at, and it is the video game which arguably saved the video game industry over 30 years ago. I am talking about Super Mario Bros.
Now anyone who has made the best decision in their life by clicking on this video will at least know of Super Mario Bros. I mean, how can you not? This must be the most well-known video game known to mankind. You play as an Italian plumber who happens to be called Mario because, you know, his name is in the title of the game, and he jumps on walking pieces of shit called Goombas and giant turtles, and you have to save the princess from the bad guy known as King Koopa, who is also known as Bowser. However, sometimes after you think you've really beaten him at the end of the world, this happens. Yeah, a fucking little mushroom prick called Toad breaks the news to you. Yeah, you done well, Mario, but fuck you. You have to go to the next castle. You know what? I really wish I could pick him up and throw him into the lava pit with Bowser. So then you have to continue into the next world. In each world, there's always something different. Every time you hit bricks, Mario will come across different things, like coins. And if you hit a brick with a question mark, power-ups such as super mushrooms will appear and make him go bigger. I wonder why it has to be a mushroom. Maybe that's why so many people get high off mushrooms, because they think they'll make them get bigger. Fucking idiots. You have the fire flower as well, which can make Mario shoot out fireballs from his hands. Yeah, that doesn't happen in real life. And finally we have the Superstar, and this power-up certainly helps you out quite a bit, especially when you are having a difficult time fighting the bad guys.
And this game has 8 worlds in total, and that means that you can spend maybe hours trying to complete the game. Now here's a question I want to ask you. Has anyone actually attempted to play all the way through the game without taking shortcuts via warp pipes? Nah, just me then.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the warp pipes appear in this game too. They kinda remind me of something very terrible that I experienced quite a while ago.
Nah, just me.
Now, some people consider this to be the greatest video game ever made. What do I think?
No. Now, don't get me wrong, this game will always have a legendary status, because what it did back in the day, it saved the video game industry. A lot of people were writing off video games. The whole genre was becoming extinct before all the best stuff happened, when you got all those games that came out afterwards in the 80s, 90s, the noughties and nowadays. And Super Mario Bros., it has such a huge legacy on gaming today. If it wasn't for that game, there'd be a lot of games that have been made since and are still being made today. They would never have been made. They especially have a really huge influence on Nintendo. And while I do think that this is a great thing, I don't think this is the greatest video game ever made. But it was only until later on that I played this. It was only in the days of the Nintendo Wii Virtual Console that I actually got to play this for the first time. I know it might be biased that I say it's not my favourite video game ever and it's not the best game of all time, and that's probably because I was introduced to it a lot later. But in my opinion, there have been games that have come out since then which are a lot better. By the time I first played Super Mario Brothers, I had already experienced games that were up to today's standards, let's say.
These days, people are used to seeing games like Grand Theft Auto, Resident Evil and Call of Duty Infinite shitfur, and that's great. Games like this show just how far video games have come since the days of Super Mario Brothers. For as long as I can remember, I always knew of the presence of Super Mario Brothers. The character of Mario is such an icon. He must hold the record for appearing in the most number of video games, as well as being referenced in other games, like Assassin's Creed 2. What, you don't believe me? Well, have a look at this scene.
You have my thanks.
Keep the sword, Ezio.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's a me, Mario!
It's me, Mario!
No matter how good a game without it can be, Mario is the most iconic character in video gaming history. No question. Since me, and I suppose when a lot of people were really young, Mario was always there. As the years have gone by, we've all been wowed by new consoles coming out every few years, showing off the new capabilities that companies have to offer, whether it's motion controls, better graphics, or the ability to play console games also on the go, like with the PS4 and the PS Vita, and we'll see more of this with the upcoming Nintendo Switch. Gaming and popular culture is evolving rapidly, and I think that is absolutely terrific. Back when I started making videos, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no vision that I'd still be here in 5 years' time doing this. A lot has changed in those 5 years. Now, I have much more of an understanding of what I am doing. The quality of my videos are far superior than ever before, and I'm a lot more confident talking to you all, especially in front of the camera. I could not have done this like 5 years ago. I just thought that this would have been impossible. On the whole though, sometimes it's good to take a look back at the past. In this case, at a game which has spawned a franchise which is still going extremely strong today. Without this, we wouldn't have all the countless numbers of sequels and spin-offs that we're still getting now, regardless of how good they are. Without this, we wouldn't have had all of the other Nintendo consoles. We would not have been getting the Switch. Furthermore, there would be no console wars with other companies to try and outsell each other. Finally, and most importantly, we would not have got Super Mario 64 years later. The first game that I ever played, as well as the first game that I ever reviewed on this channel. In effect, if it wasn't for Super Mario Brothers, there would be no James Games, and that is why this is not necessarily the best video game ever made, but I think this is definitely the most influential video game ever made. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.